Page 30, O Barquinho, or bar something or other. I massacred that. I don't speak Latin American or whatever it is. It's little boat. No. It has a Latin American theme and rhythm and feel to it, I guess. According to the book it does. I don't know. Common time, or 4/4 time. One flat in the key signature, so it's either an F major or D minor. If you look at the end, it's ending here. Well, that's fun, isn't it? It sounds, I mean, it's a 7th chord. Take out the 7th. It's a 7th chord. See the C? I can put the C here. Take out the 7th, it's an F chord. I'm guessing it's an F major. They just ended it on a 7th chord. Isn't that nice? Let's talk about this piece. I don't want to get into the theory of, I'm not a theory teacher. I know a little bit to get dangerous, and that's it. We'll carry on. Right hand first. I got some things that I need to discuss on this. The rhythm is tricky. It's syncopated right at the beginning. You have a 1-2. You can, if you would like, use 1-3. I see nothing wrong with it. I'm going to use 1-3. It's more comfortable for me, because these other fingers can handle these other notes pretty much. They want this one, so you got 3 fingers to handle these other notes coming up. We got other notes coming up. So, well, this is fine for me. Now you have a whole note in the bottom. We got 2 voices here, and you got to hold that down for 2 measures as you're doing all this other stuff. So let's just concentrate on these upper notes first. Rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3. That G is on beat 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. See that the F is tied. So 1 and 2 and. There. Again, faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So I did that just fine with 3rd finger. So now I just hold the A down. Like so. And then for the next measure, they got 5. I would prefer to connect these. They have it slurred, so you think, okay, I can lift up. That's not just convenience because you're out of position. It's really all one slur, and it should be connected. Here, it should be connected. So I'm suggesting on the 3rd measure, go ahead and use 2nd finger on the 1st one, and then you can use 5th. So it's, again, at the beginning, it's here, and then here, here, and then lift up on the 8, and this is by itself. And you can do here for the 2nd line, here or here. If your hands are big enough, that's fine. You can. I do this because I like to keep my hand out here. I don't want to be up here. And then you get a rest. Then you're going to do it again, sort of. You come down a little bit, and you have an E flat. And remember the rule for occidentals. It applies from that point on the rest of the measure. So the E at the end of the measure is also an E flat. And this is one of those times where it can carry across a bar line. You see, accidentals, they end at the bar line. Well, when they're tied, it carries over. You don't change it because of the bar line. So that first note in the next measure is also an E flat. Yeah. So again, the 2nd measure, 2nd line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's the same fingering we did with the first one. And then 2, 3rd line. Rest. It's rather repetitious. It's like a sequence going down. And I'm using the same fingering on each of these. And again, it's a D flat at the end of this 3rd line down last measure. It's a D flat here. And then, now this rhythm is different. This is the bottom line on page 30, 2nd measure here. Here, and you lift up here, and then, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. During the rest, come up. 2, 3, and then at the top of page 31, just, you can use thumb here if you want, because they're both black keys. And you got to reach up to the B flat If your hands are small, that's all right. You can move up. Otherwise, just reach up. And then I come out here. It's an A natural there. And then, not real piano music, is it? During the rest, come up. Now this is the same stuff we've had before, but you don't have the bottom note. So if you want to use the same fingering you used before, I think that's actually better. I used third finger before because I had a whole note to hold. Even without it, I could still use... That's the awkward fingers. Maybe you don't want to use the awkward fingers. Well, tough. Use them anyway. You need practice at them. So this is good. I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger. I mean, I'm exaggerating so you can see it. The motion is actually very little, but I'm transferring the weight from finger to finger. And then we go through that some more. It's rather repetitious. Left hand. Well, left hand got whole notes. F chord without the middle note. Because the right hand's got the A here. See, when you think of a chord, you got to kind of think of all the notes involved. And don't worry about this mess up here. What chord is that? Well, it's just an F chord. And then second measure, you play it again because it's not tied. And then the third measure, it's an F sharp, a B natural, and a D. Yeah, 4 is fine. Here, rest. The next line is an E, a B natural, and a D. And the next one, E flat. And they put the B flat, the flat sign in parentheses. It's a flat anyway. You don't need the flat sign. But it's a courtesy sign. It's telling you, oh, by the way, this is a flat. Remember? So it's fine. If you're into writing music, arranging music, it's better to be absolutely clear than to leave it out because you don't need it and leave it up to them to do it. They may or may not do it, so be clear. So they put it in the second measure. They don't put it in the third. There's no point. You already know it's a B flat by now. Third line, then it's an E. Because the E flat goes away at the measure. It's not an E flat anymore. They could have put an E natural in parentheses, a courtesy sign to let you know that, but they didn't. And they didn't have to, so all right, we do that. Next measure, and then the D flat, E flat. So you just work out these chords. The last line on page 30 in the second measure, the half. You can do that here if you have big hands. Otherwise, this is fine, and then here. You almost have to do it this fingering when you get to the C. Okay, you gotta have really big hands to do that. I mean, it's doable, but and then so just work out these chords in the left hand. Now, top of page 31, second measure, you came off of this chord. I'd like to be able to just stay here for this, but I'm out of position for this chord. So I need thumb on that G in the second measure. So during the rest, come down, then here. And then going on, we got broken chords. Here. Just work out what the notes are. Sense harmonically when you hear it. So forth, put the hands together. It's here. So you do play the left hand on the beat. So here, here. This is by itself. Lift up the left hand. Again, the rest. I don't really want to have to show you everything. I've showed you the hands individually. I need you to just go in and put it together as best you can. Again, try and play it as connected as you can with the hands. And then go back through and get rid of the hesitations because it can go nice and slow at first, but the beat needs to be steady, so get rid of the hesitations. Then, as you can gradually speed it up, add the articulation. And I don't agree with the slurring in here. I think you should follow the sentences, the words. So this part. All of that is one phrase. To me, all of that should be connected. It's my opinion. So you go all the way to the rest. And all of these are the same way. Just connect it all the way to the rest, if you can. And that's really about all the articulation I'm seeing. Then the dynamics, well, it applies to the melody. So it's moderately soft, whatever that is. Whatever you think moderately soft is, you keep everything else very soft and way in the background. And that's hard. You've got both of these together. Can you play this moderately soft and this very soft? I'm just putting more weight on that note. Don't play it loud just because it's got to be louder than the other. Figure how soft is that and make this very soft at the same time. And the left hand's very soft. Staying in that area. You're not going to stay exactly that. You can get a little louder and softer, but that comes after you get past the mechanics of playing it. You got the notes and rhythms under your fingers, and you start feeling the music. You might want to feel it. Experiment with it. It's called interpreting the music. Then at the bottom of the page, the last measure, you have a crescendo to come up. But medium loud there. And immediately back down to medium soft. Go back up to medium loud, and then back down to medium soft. Stay at medium soft throughout that pretty much, and you know you can get louder at the bottom. Look at the last two lines. The last couple measures are the next to the last line. It's where the reverse repeat sign. You crescendo up. You're moderately soft here. Left hand's still very soft. You're going to crescendo back here, and then soft again. Then crescendo and soft. And you repeat that once, and finally you're ending it here softly. Soft, end it soft, and this is very soft. I want to hear this note. It's a gentle piece, and it's not fast or slow speed-wise. Something like so. It's very pretty. Then they've added the pedal and screwed it all up. If I pedal it the way they're showing, it's overlapping pedal throughout. And that's probably how most people would pedal it. I just want to take their pedal away from them. This is what it sounds like. Push the notes down first and then the pedal. And then change the pedal after, play the notes. If you're not listening too close, it's fine. If you're actually listening to it, I think it sounds terrible. Absolutely terrible. And problem is if you just blindly do it this way, you're actually going to get used to hearing this, and then it will sound fine to you. And I'm asking you don't. Be very critical on what the pedal is doing to the sound. I suggest at the beginning, because of this, that we pedal as little as possible. I don't want to blur this. I don't think that's really the mood of the piece. I mean, some pieces, they want that misty, foggy, blurry stuff. I don't really think they wanted that here. So I'm going to use a type of pedaling, kind of a legato pedaling, to connect the left hand. Because I can't connect this by itself. there's going to be a little bit of silence as I lift up. So I use the pedal for that. And what it is I push the pedal down right before I change the chord, and it's down only long enough to connect the chords. And then with the rest, I don't need the pedal for the rest. I want to hear the rest. So of these measures with the rest on the end, I don't need to pedal those at all, actually. For that, I'm going to pedal them for another reason. So at the first couple 3 measures or whatever, it's here. Here, so I'm just pedaling just to connect the left hand. Now, another reason to pedal is to repeated notes. Look at the 3rd measure of the 1st line. I can't connect those. I need the pedal. I'd like it because this is kind of a smooth piece. It's just not a blurry piece. So those I'm going to pedal, but I'm going to lift it up with the hand. So those are by themselves. I don't pedal those, the last 2. So it's here. And the same with the next measure. Rest, and I lift it up on the rest. So to start at the beginning again, it's that. You get the idea? So I'm pedaling most of this like that. Very little pedaling. I'm just pedaling when I absolutely need it to connect things. This is not a big boisterous sound where I need lots of overtones. I don't need them. Now when you get to the bottom of the page, on page 30, the last 2 measures you're here, lift up, so we hear the rest. Don't pedal the quarter notes. Now if you'd like, because this is a little bit of a contrast to what we were doing, you can pedal with the half notes in the left hand. But lift it up, so don't pedal these. So you can pedal that a little bit. That adds some color to it. That's fine. And then you're back to what we were doing before. And here, we don't need to connect the left hand. We can do it with the hands. I don't need to pedal this at all. This is the top of page 31. 1st line, last 2 measures here. No pedal. But until the 2nd line, I need to connect those repeated notes. Now, if that's too much of a contrast to you and you don't like that sound, the clean sound of that and this, because you can hear all these overtones, then you're going to need to pedal this. If you do, I suggest you change it every 2 beats. And there at the end, don't pedal that. So you can add a little bit of color as you're going along. It'll blur it a little bit, but a lot of times with pedal, it's a give and take between what you want and what you end up with. So it's kind of a, I like it clean, but I want to connect the repeated notes. So I need pedal in part, not on the other part, but it's too much. So just, I give a little bit. It's negotiate something. Now, let's take a look at, it happens twice. The first time it happens at the bottom of page 30, last line, 2nd measure here. Here, lift it up with the left hand. Right there, with the left, lift. I don't want to pedal this. You can pedal the chord if you want. And then over on page 31, it happens again in the 4th line, excuse me, it's here. There, the last line or so, don't pedal until you get to the half note. You can pedal that, because we crescendoed up to it, and then lift up. Don't pedal. Now, you can pedal the half note. It's like we were pedaling up above. We had this same thing at the bottom of page 30 going to page 31, same thing. You can pedal that. Well, there told you could pedal the half notes, but here we got quarter notes. So do I pedal these like? It's up to you and what you like to hear. So you decide. The last couple lines there on 31, or the last measure the next to the last line here, I would prefer those be clean, but I do want overtones on the half note. I crescendoed up. So forth, so I would pedal that. Yeah, you're the judge and what you like to hear, and I know I'm complicating the pedal a lot, so you have to consider that too. So how complicated do you want to make it? You really don't need pedal at all. You play the whole thing without pedal just fine, in my opinion. Now at the bottom of page 31, that it says the last line there, next to last measure, repeat and fade. You see the reverse repeat sign right above it? You're just going to keep repeating those 4 measures and each time get a little softer. So the dynamics only apply to the first one. Just a little softer. You can keep repeating it if you need to. I don't recommend it, but the point is keep getting softer, and just like a great big long day crescendo. And so at the end, you're soft. Okay.